Welcome to part 2 of my defending one-on-one in wide areas. This practice is predominantly for under 8s to under 12s, but you can adjust this practice depending on the age group or abilities that you work with. So we are focusing on the 4 S's in this practice, and we're going to be doing one-on-ones. So the objective of the attackers, which are the yellows, and defenders in the red, is the attackers are trying to dribble through these 2 central gates, and the defenders are going to be trying to stop them with a press and good body position. So we're looking at the 4 S's. As soon as this player takes a touch with the ball, the defender is allowed to go and press. The attacker is not allowed to come inside this central zone, so they're forced to get out with the ball quickly, and that gives enough time for the defender to get out and angle their press. As this happens, we're going to look at curving the press. So getting out quickly and slowing down quickly is all good, but it's also about the angle of the press. So if you're just going to go straight on, you're not going to give yourself a nice angle to force the attacker. So what we're really looking at is, can this defender angle it? So then when they arrive at the attacker, they're slowing down and they're pushing that attacker down the line in zone 1 or in zone 5. So when talking about zone lanes 1 and 5, we're talking, if we split the pitch into 5 channels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, zones 1 and 5s are the top and the bottom channels. So we're working in wide areas in this practice. So we're going to see if the defender can get out quickly, slow down quickly, and as they slow down, then that's when I want the defender to get into that side-on position, nice and low, and that's what we call the sit-down position. Once we've sat down, then we're going to look to show down and try and force the attacker down the line. Point scoring systems could be 1 point for going down the line, or you could do 3 points for the attackers going inside. You could flip it and do the defensive scoring as well. So you might reward the defenders instead of rewarding the attackers, as this is defensive focused. So you might say, defenders, if you can force them down there, fantastic, that's 1 point. Or if they go inside, then no points, or you might even say minus points. Another way of scoring it could be, if you win it back, that's a point. And then if you transition and score or dribble through their central gates, because then we're getting these guys to do some defending as well, then that's another way of doing it. So by flipping it, we're not just doing defending in wide areas for these guys, we're also doing it for these guys if possession is turned over and lost. So you're getting double the amount of reps in potentially. So I tend to do this for about 5 minutes and then swap over. But again, adjust it as you please. This is just a guideline, just a template. The second objective is to slow down the attacker and face a decision. So all while we're doing this, we're trying to use deception. We're trying to see if we can try and trick the attacker into thinking that we'll press. And again, another thing to emphasize is that the first time to go for the ball isn't necessarily the best one. And this is really important to remind young players off as well, as you know, young players want to play at 100 miles an hour and think that they have to win the ball back in the first opportunity, which isn't the case. So patience is really important when defending one-on-one, and identifying triggers. So that could be a heavy touch. It could be when they've ended up with their back towards goal, then that's when I want to get tight and keep them going this way. It could be a backwards pass and then you lock onto the next player. But you know, there's lots of different triggers that we need to think about, but try and focus on 1 or 2 to start with at once, and then once players get more comfortable and more better in 1v1s, then you can introduce more. So hope you found this useful, and look out for part 3 where we look at progressing it by adding in another player and turning it into a 2v1.